George Woods Jr. in the Tide is hoping to wrap up his final point standings with a big win here today. But Mark Tate in the Winston Eagle is hot on his heels in points and wants to make this his own big win. ESPN presents the RC Cola 1992 Unlimited Hydroplane Series. The eighth stop of this series, the Budweiser Cup on Mission Bay. Sponsored by RC Cola, give me the taste of my RC. By Eagle Snacks, remember not all snacks are created eagle. And by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
This is beautiful Mission Bay in San Diego, California. Hello, everybody. I'm Jim Hendrick, along with Steve Montgomery. Dick Crippen in the broadcast booth, waiting to bring you the play-by-play. And to a man, these drivers say this 2.5-mile oval is the fastest in the history of the sport. Look at the speeds.
Absolutely, Jim. We have 7 boats that have qualified faster than 150 miles per hour. That's the most we've ever had. The 8th was at 149 plus, and of course our Winston Select Fast Lap Award goes to Chip Hanauer and the Miss Budweiser 169.8. That is the fastest lap ever run on water.
Speaking of Chip Hanauer and the Budweiser team, they wrapped up the Eagle Snacks High Point Trophy, the last race in Kansas City. For an update on that, here's Dick Crippen.
Well, as you say, Miss Budweiser has wrapped it up, so the real battle now is in second place, where just 672 points separate the Tide from the Winston Eagle. And if the Tide can win today, they could come out with a solid second-place finish on the season. They would like that. Let's take a look at our first heat action, Jim.
All right. It'll be Miss Budweiser in lane 1, driven by Chip Hanauer, still suffering from sore ribs. The owner is Bernie Little. Mark Tate will drive Steve Woomer's Winston Eagle in lane 2, George Woods Jr. and Bill Wooster's The Tide in lane number 3, while the Miss Hanley Hotel, Fred Leland's boat, will be driven by rookie Nate Brown. And getting his first test in Unlimiteds, Dave Villwock will drive Ron Jones Jr.'s The Coors Dry.
Here's the start of Heat 1A as we look out on the course of the Miss Budweiser coming up hard on the inside. She's got a little distance to catch up. Chip Hanauer powers hard into the turn. He gets airborne. Chip Hanauer going over in turn number 1. He was trying to break to the front of the pack. He had the inside lane. He's upside down in the water. Chip is still inside that boat. What does this remind you of, Jim?
It reminds us of Seattle. This very same hull that's been repaired flipped over much the same during testing the day before the race in Seattle, Washington. That up above shot was from our Budweiser blimp. Look at the rescue crews. You can see parts of the boat. The driver is still in there upside down.
This will give us a good look at how these drivers are taken out of these boats. He has not released the capsule underneath. Obviously, the divers are going in to check his condition. Now, one of those divers will get up on the boat. He's got a key with him that'll open the latch, and he actually sits on top of that latch while he's racing so they can get to him fast. He's got his own breathing mechanism, so he should be all right there. It is watertight and holds on his face. Look at his legs. He kicked his legs right out of the door. They're pulling him out of the boat now. This is Chip Hanauer, who went into this race, Jim, with some sore ribs. Take a look at what happened.
The skid fin that keeps him on the race course in a turn comes completely out of the water. The boat becomes airborne, does a half twist, and flops over backwards.
You can see the tremendous impact the boat had against the water, and you can imagine what it was like for Chip Hanauer inside that cockpit. The radio report is that he is conscious. We'll get a further medical report shortly. Let's go down to the pits and Steve Montgomery. Steve?
Mark Tate in the Winston Eagle was running in lane 2 right beside Chip Hanauer and Miss Budweiser. Mark, did you see what happened at all?
Well, basically all I saw was I got into the corner quite late because it was just a screwy start, and when I got into the corner and got about to the apex, all of a sudden there's a big wall of water that came across to the right, and then it left, and then it came across again, and I knew something happened to the Budweiser because all of a sudden he wasn't there.
You could actually see some of the pieces of the Budweiser as you looked from inside the boat. Look at the tremendous driving as the Budweiser goes over. It looks like Mark Tate is going to come right up on him and go over, but he doesn't. He manages to avoid him on the outside. There you see Chip Hanauer now as he is brought into the pit area. Chip, as we told you, is conscious. He is communicating with the medical people. Gets a little bit of a round of applause there from the fans. So as they get the boat towed back into shore and we get the course cleared off, we get ready for the restart of Heat 1A, and that'll be coming up in just a moment. Back on Mission Bay, let's check with the boat owner, Miss Budweiser owner Bernie Little, on the condition of Chip Hanauer.
Bernie Little has just seen Chip Hanauer leave the pit area. Bernie, tell us about Chip's condition.
Well, it looks pretty good. I was talking to Chip. He was conscious all the way. He's had a back injury since the first race, and that was bothering him a little bit, but he really looks good. He's talking very good. He immediately said, call my girlfriend so she don't get worried, and so he was very alert. And he said he wanted to get the boat ready and run in the last chance heat, and he said, I really want to do that. So, Chip, he wants to compete, and you may see him back here today.
Well, we'll be anxious to see about that. Meanwhile, on the restart of Heat 1A, the Winston Eagle is now in lane number 1. Winston Eagle charging hard, and right there you've got your battle for second place in the high point standings with the Tide boat riding right on the outside. Winston Eagle around the turn and loses the cowling. He lost the cowling off the top of the engine, so he's got to be aware of water that might get inside there. Jim?
Are you ready, Dick? Mark Tate in the Winston Eagle has just set the fastest competition lap ever here in Heat 1A, 161.5. That's the fastest on any course, any city, anytime, anywhere.
That's a tremendous record to hold, and it's a record that is certainly going to be on the mind of George Woods Jr., who's back in second place. We're looking at some of the other field. This boat, the Coors Dry, is being raced for the first time by Dave Villwock. He's returning to the driver's seat. Here's your checkered flag out now for the fast boat in the heat. Winston Eagle, Mark Tate, and he got another record?
Yes, he did. 153.036, a course record for the average heat. There's the rest of your field with the Tide finishing second. Here's the 194-foot airship, Bud 1, that'll be seen with their camera in the sky at the football games for the Raiders, Rams, Chargers, and 49ers for this year.
Starting lineup in Heat 1B, the Miss T+, the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger, Miss Pog, Spirit of San Diego in lane 4. Lane 5 is the Miss Midmark, and Miss Property rounds out the field on far outside. Looking at the starting field on the water, we can see the Miss Midmark did not make it, neither did the Miss Properties. Apparently technical problems kept them land-bound on the inside as they come into the turn. It is going to be the Miss T+ from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the National Dynamics, Spirit of San Diego on the outside. Mark Evans trying to catch him, but it's the young man from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Stephen David, who is now setting the pace. As you can see, the Spirit of San Diego's got a little competition on the inside. Miss Pog is not part of it. Apparently some problems with that boat.
They're saying it's the salt water in the turbines, which of course always plagues the boats when they race on salt water, as we look at Kellogg's Tony the Tiger, currently running in third place. The winner of Heat 1B at an average of 142.2, Steve David in the T+.
A good job of driving by Steve David. He takes first, the Spirit of San Diego in second place, then the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger and Miss Pog, and as we told you, Miss Properties and Miss Midmark did not start. We'll be back to Mission Bay with the Budweiser Cup in just a moment. Some of the fans enjoying the water we're racing on here in Mission Bay at San Diego, California. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery as we look at these fans enjoying this wonderful day, and we get ready for Heat 2A.
4 boats, Winston Eagle in lane 1, the Tide lane 2. Hanauer Hotel has not answered the call, has not come away from the dock yet, but the Coors Dry now will be the 3rd boat in the heat as Heat 2A gets underway.
The Winston Eagle boat has had a fantastic run so far, already setting a record out on this course, actually 2 of them, and right now he looks like he's going to go out and try to set another one. He takes the lead right out of turn number 1 and 2. The Tide boat trying to catch him on the outside. The battle for second place in the National High Point standings for the season is between those 2 boats. You can see that the Coors Dry boat with Dave Villwock far to the outside sitting in 3rd. Mark Tate getting another great run, and they've got the cowling back on the boat.
Look at this inside inside shot over the left shoulder of Mark Tate in the Winston Eagle. Watch how fast the buoys come up. You don't think these boats aren't moving? Watch it just blip right by.
And we have to always remind people, Jim, that the water conditions change constantly, as does the air. The wind comes up and down, so these drivers constantly have to adjust these boats for the conditions. A great shot of the Winston Eagle now from the outside, and it looks like he's on another record run.
The tie, George Woods Jr. in second. George knows if he can maintain just behind Winston Eagle all day, he'll be second place in the Winston High Point Championship. Our ESPN camera inside Bud 1 airship looking at the crew as we pan, looking over beautiful Mission Bay in San Diego. We've just been given word that Chip Hanauer will not return to action. The Budweiser has scratched for the day. T Plus will lead him off in lane number 1. Heat 2B, driven, of course, by Steve David, looking for his second consecutive victory. Spirit of San Diego, known as National Dynamics for this one. Kellogg's Tony the Tiger, Mike Hansen behind the wheel. Miss Pog from Honolulu, Hawaii, Ken Muscatel, the driver. And the Miss Properties with Jerry Hop will see action for the first time today. Miss Midmark, Jack Berry, the driver, has withdrawn. They are out of action.
In this grouping of boats so far, it has been the Miss T Plus, which is on the inside as they come down into the turn now. That boat seems to be taking over the lead, but on the outside, he's got a challenge from the Miss Pog. Ken Muscatel having a great run out there now against the T Plus. In the middle of it all is the National Dynamics Spirit of San Diego, and it looks like second place is going to be where the race is. You can see now the lead boat has really taken over about a 5-boat length lead over the second place battlers, but Mark Evans, who's in the middle of your screen in the blue boat, that's the Spirit of San Diego, and the yellow Miss Pog are really going at it deck to deck.
Miss Pog, of course, owned by Bob Fendler out of Honolulu, Hawaii. They'll be our host boat for the next event and the final event of the year.
Well, it'd be nice for them to win with a little bit of momentum, and right now he's got plenty of momentum as he's battling for second place. There's a great shot of that race right now. Now, the Spirit of San Diego boat on the inside. Whoa! A little bit of lightness for the T Plus. I was going to tell you the Spirit of San Diego is inside the Miss Pog. That normally would give that boat a little bit of an advantage as far as running the course.
It's Jerry Hop is being lapped right now, and it's his first action of the day as we look at our leader, 148.1 mile an hour. Here's the Miss Pog with Ken Muscatel. Whoa! He gets a little airborne. Put those ailerons down, my man.
I think he's got a feeling of where he is and exactly what he has a chance to do with that boat as far as earning some points. Another shot of the Miss Properties trailing the field now. He's been passed by the other 3 boats out there. Jerry Hop holding it in. Checkered flag is out, and it's going to go to the Miss T Plus. A great run by Steve David. Miss Pog is in second place. The Spirit of San Diego now in third. Then the Miss Properties, and the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger boat did not start.
It's getting to be a habit.
Oh, God, the T Plus engine treatment at DuPont Teflon. Just running great, and I tell you, with the T Plus, the salt water's not affecting it. We're able to just continue to run, and it's been a ball today so far.
I hear that you asked your crew for more speed. Your first lap was over 148.
Yeah, I know, but to win this race today, I got to be able to run some 100 and high 150s to win it. So, you know, racers never satisfied, but the T Plus will get me there by the final.
150,000 plus are here at Mission Bay, enjoying today's sunshine and the fast action, and we continue, of course, with that action.
Heat 3A coming up. Winston Eagle, the Tide, Coors Dry, and the Miss Hanauer Hotel are all in the race, but it's a 2-boat race down to the finish line. The Winston Eagle battling it out and coming in first place to take another win today. Mark Tate has just had a great day of racing, and we have to believe that if the Miss Budweiser was in there, those two would be battling neck and neck. But there's your finish. The Winston Eagle, the Tide, Coors Dry in third, and Hanauer Hotel did not start.
And it's another record, 155, as he's up the heat record for this course 3 times in a row today. Heat 3B, there's your field from lane 1 through lane 5.
Again, the Miss T Plus is the strong boat coming into the field, and as they went out onto the course, the battle was between Mark Evans and Stephen David. Stephen David, again, looking for more power. He was able to find it, and Stephen David takes the win in Heat 3B, which really sets him in a beautiful position for the final.
That's 3 straight heat wins for the T Plus. They are in the final. The rest of the field, if they hope to make it, will have to do well in the last chance heat.
And that's an interesting heat, and we're going to recap that one for you because remember, the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger did not start the last 2 heats, but he did start in the last chance heat, and it was Mike Hansen out of Madison, Indiana, who was able to dominate the field. So whatever the problem was, they certainly got it cured, and that boat now qualifies for the final.
The The problem was salt water caused compression stalls. They cleaned up their act. They make the final. They're congratulated by their happy crew.
And we'll be back with the Budweiser Cup on Mission Bay, part of the RC Cola Unlimited Hydroplane Series in a moment.
The final field is set for the winner-take-all 5-lap final here in the Budweiser Cup, Mission Bay, San Diego, California.
Let's take a look at the lineup for this final heat, and it should be a wild one. Winston Eagle, Mark Tate. He's been setting records all day long. He'll be in lane number 1. Lane 2 will be the U8, the Tide Boat, George Woods Jr. Then in lane 3, it's the U2, Miss T+, Steve David. Lane 4 is the U102, Coors Dry, Dave Villwock. Lane 5, the Miss Hanauer Hotel, Nate Brown. The trailer boat is the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger trailer boat by virtue of winning the last chance heat. The boats come around the course now. They are just warming up. They're trying to take their position. A flying start. The judges will be looking on the course to get everything lined up as best they can to give everybody an equal shot at the trophy. You can see the Winston Eagle just raring to go. Jim, that boat's already set a bunch of records today. It's got to be a strong favorite coming in.
Inside the Winston Eagle with Mark Tate. Listen to the acceleration sound of the turbine.
There's your start. And the Winston Eagle in good position now, approaching turn number 1. The competition is going to be to his right on the outside. The Tide Boat trying to move up on them. There you can see a great shot of the start. The trailer boat on the backside of the course is the Tony the Tiger boat. He's got a ways to go. He got into this final heat by qualifying in the last chance. He's going to try now to move up in that field. But the lead boat right now appears to be the Tide. The Tide Boat has taken over the lead. George Woods Jr. There was apparently a compression stall or something that happened to just put a little tick in the run for the Winston Eagle, but the Tide Boat at this moment has the lead.
George Woods Jr., winner at Seattle, his hometown earlier this year. We're back inside the cockpit of the Winston Eagle. Whoa, I think he just hit that buoy.
We're going to have to check and listen closely on the URC radios. Something is being said about it. The helicopter high above the course is reporting that the Winston Eagle did indeed hit a buoy, and he will be penalized 1 lap. Now the Tide Boat still is in the lead. The challenge, though, is now from the Coors Dry Boat. This is the first race for Dave Villwock, and look at him to the right of the Tide Boat.
A tough situation for that Winston Eagle team to overcome with a lap down right now as we look at our leaders on the right. It is George Woods Jr. the Tide. Look at the challenge from Dave Villwock. The Coors Dry coming on very, very strong.
So Dave Villwock trying to take the lead. Now he is a rookie driver in the Unlimiteds, but he is a world champion several times over in limited hydroplanes. His last victory in the limited hydroplanes was on this course in Mission Bay, and he has now taken the lead in the unlimited hydroplane race.
George Woods Jr. now will have to go in the inside, try to do it tight. As George Woods turns it, I believe he did. He just hit a buoy. I think another 1-lap penalty is coming.
We'll listen to the radios and see if the officials do indeed assess another 1-lap penalty. One of our lead boats on the right of your screen, back in second place as the boats are running, is the Tide Boat. On the outside to the left of him, back in third, is the Winston Eagle boat. Both of those boats, yes, it is firm now. Both boats have been penalized 1 lap. So now the Coors Dry Boat with Dave Villwock driving his first unlimited hydroplane race is the lead boat. The other 2 boats have a long way to go, but when you have a brand new boat and a brand new driver, you never know what's going to happen.
It's only happened once before when Gene Whipp was a brand new driver. His first competition, the President's Cup, Washington, D.C., the Lincoln Thrift, he won the race.
He certainly did, and he got out of unlimited hydroplane racing and now serves as an official at some of the races. As a matter of fact, there's your second place boat, the Miss T+, still running very strong. The Miss Hanauer Hotel, Nate Brown, is back in third place, and back in fourth is the Kellogg's Tony the Tiger boat. Now remember, that boat was the trailer boat, now up in fourth place because of the 1-lap penalties assessed to the Winston Eagle and the Tide. So Tony the Tiger very much in contention here, but right now the lead boat is the Coors Dry, driven by rookie driver Dave Villwock. Here's a shot inside of the restarted Winston Eagle. He has had engine problems. It sounds like he's going down. And he has. The Winston Eagle has gone down. He's lost power. Boy, that's a disappointing finish to an otherwise great day. Now, in the first lap of this race, he had a little bit of a hesitation in the engine. I don't know whether that was indicative of what was going to happen here just moments ago. Here's your lead boat. Look at the tail on that boat going back and forth. There's the Coors Dry Dave Villwock. He is not letting up. He doesn't have competition at the moment, but he's still got his foot in it.
For any word from the Winston Eagle camp, they cooked the hot section of that turbine. That's why they went dead in the water. As we look to the left of your screen, here is the T+, Steve David, a very fine second place right now.
And he's going to be happy with that, I'm sure. He'd like to be up in the main competition, but as the checkered flag goes out, the winner of the competition is none other than Dave Villwock, the rookie driver in the Coors Dry Boat, T+ second, Hanauer Hotel third, Kellogg's Tony the Tiger fourth, and the Tide Boat fifth, and the Winston Eagle did not finish.
Let's go down to the winner's circle and Steve Montgomery.
Were you planning this little surprise for us all day?
I tell you, the Ron Jones team just kept after this boat. You know, we've got such a little bitty sword that we're dealing with the rest of these guys with, and they're just a whole host of people that built this boat in 57 days, brought it here to its second race, mostly volunteer help, you know, and won a final heat. And it's unbelievable. I don't think it's ever been done. It's my first race. What can I say?
Owner Ron Jones, pretty good day for you. You've had a long one.
It was an excellent day. It's been an excellent year so far. We're real happy with American Spirit, and we're extremely happy with the Coors Dry Boat.
How about this rookie driver you have here?
Oh, he did a great job. An excellent job. Came from behind, passed him, and left him.
Coming into this race, the Miss Budweiser has sewed up the Eagle Snacks High Point Series, but the Tide Boat was vying for second, gets second place, Winston Eagle third. Those top three boats qualify for the O'Doul Shootout coming up in Honolulu. Steve?
George Woods in the Tide Boat did not win the final heat like you wanted to, but you did lock up second place in National High Points. That's a pretty good year.
That's a real good year. The Tide team all year long has ran great. Today it wasn't our day. We had a little bit of steering problem there in the final heat. After the first lap, the steering started to hang up, and I couldn't get the boat turned correctly. So we just slowed down, and boy, what can you say? Dave Villwock's first race, first time out here. The Coors boat's running like a rocket ship, drove right on by us.
If you'd like more information on unlimited hydroplane racing, possibly obtain a media guide or the fan club membership application, write to the Unlimited Racing Commission in Seattle, Washington, or give them a call at area code 206-467-1368.
And so the Budweiser Cup here on Mission Bay comes to a close. A very surprising finish, Steve Montgomery, to say the least.
Absolutely. With no Miss Budweiser and Chip Hanauer, you have to figure the Winston Eagle is having a perfect day. The Tide's always strong. The T+ is running well. And from nowhere, the Coors Dry, brand new boat, rookie driver, his first unlimited race. This will be one of the biggest surprises in the history of unlimited racing.
Dave Villwock was in his very first race. He brought the boat back damaged also, but he managed to survive. It's almost a demolition derby. A lot of the boats were hurt, but they'll be repaired in time for the Outrigger Hotel Hydrofest, October 11th, Pearl Harbor. We'll be there. On behalf of Steve Montgomery, Dick Crippen, I'm Jim Hendrick. So long.
The Budweiser Cup on Mission Bay is sponsored by RC Cola. Give me the taste of my RC. By Eagle Snacks. Remember, not all snacks are created eagle. And by Budweiser, the king of beers with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Our promotional consideration has been provided by the San Diego Princess Resort, a tropical paradise island on Mission Bay, just 10 minutes from the International Airport. For reservations, call 1-800-542-6275. This event was sanctioned by the American Powerboat Association, a production of Cyprus Sports, in association with ESPN.